What's up, guys? Just wanted to get this pre-market plan out for you early. Uh, Market just closed. It's 1 p.m. for me. I have a very busy day. So let's get into it. You know what? I'll actually, since we're breaking the range here, I'll upload this on YouTube as well, just to give everyone a solid plan going into tomorrow. So I'll give the plan. I'll do a little bit of a session recap and then just do some explaining on, what's been going on with the overall market itself, my personal trading, and so on. So, starting with me, been very slow, very, very slow. Elite discipline. I'll get into why trading's been a little frustrating just because a lot of my thesis and analysis have been spot on, been reading the market very well, just terrible price action. So, you see your play set up, and I'm human too, right? So, that FOMO definitely kicks in, but you gotta fight it. And you have to understand this is not a high probability trade, so you just gotta miss the trade. And it's hard for sure. It's definitely hard when you see your trade setting up and playing out, but you gotta skip it. Um, in my career, trading career, this has been a record breaking journey so far, just the amount of cash days. Tomorrow's going to be Friday. I've only taken one trade this week. Out of the last two trading weeks, I think I've only taken one trade. I took a trade this week on Tesla, but it's been slow. But I understand the pros and cons to my system, so I've just been having to sit on my hands. So today's a great day on giving an explanation on like the frustration a little bit. So I'll go here, right? I gave this to this was the pre-market plan coming into today, right? Where is it? As for SPY, right, looking for a break and retest under 652.20. Qs, break and retest under 581. NVIDIA, higher probability short under 174.50. And Tesla, pullback short off of 382.80. And all these played out beautifully. Well, I wouldn't say beautifully, but they played out. SPY, we're in a downtrend on majority of these names, so we know we're looking for the downside. We ended up getting the break and retest, but just not clean price action. Qs ended up getting the break and retest under 581.10, just not clean price action. Tesla, this is on my close watch this morning, ended up getting a pop and fade. We ended up reclaiming this. I wasn't worried about that because I knew those were bulls getting trapped. And what does that do? It fuels that move lower. I almost took this. I almost took this on the reclaim entry, but I didn't just because the price action on Qs, right? Probably would have got stopped out anyway, just because we're playing next day expiration, so the contracts are going to be volatile. But thesis ended up being correct, and you got that trend lower all the way back down, right to the bottom of the range here. Pop and fade, 32.80, and then even NVIDIA here. The higher probability short is under 174.50, and you can see we ended up getting that break and retest under 174.50 today, and that led all the way down to, we made new lows on the week, being 171, right? So it's been tough. It's definitely been tough, but elite discipline, easier said than done. I'm human too. Those FOMO urges kicks in, but we just got to fight it. So going into tomorrow, guys, we finally broke out of the range here. This is a good thing. It's a good thing. We finally broke out of the range here on the higher time frame. Now, something to keep in mind. What is typically followed up by a nice trendy day, consolidation. So we'll see what sets up tomorrow, right? Expect the worst. That's really been my mindset going into the market. Of course, right? You always want to have a positive mindset and think positive, but when the market's stuck in a range, right, you expect the worst, because if a play does set up and we do have beautiful price action, then it's like something to look forward to. So tomorrow, I'm expecting, sideways action just because we had a very nice trendy day. We had a very big move from yesterday all the way down to today, as you can see here. But we're in a downtrend, so we're looking to pop. I'm sorry, pop the fades. So pop the fades, short the fades. Sorry about that. So if we get a push up into 646.50, we know we're just looking for a short entry. If we reclaim this, I'm hands off. We're in a downtrend. I'm not looking to go long on the overall market. You're just looking for a pullback long here off of 652.20. This was the range break today. This was the range break. So on the daily, right, we got the daily candle breakout. What do we need? We still need that retest. Let's go here on the daily. Look at that big breakout here. So we still do need to retest this on the SPY. It may not be today. It may not be, I'm sorry, it may not be tomorrow. It may not be Monday, but we still do need to retest this. So you're just looking to play the pullback shorts. Of course, right, if we get a break and retest under 642.15, you're just looking for that. So the trend is your friend, the dip is your best friend. Tesla, I'm sorry, Qs, finally broke the range. Let's actually go here on the weekly. When in doubt, zoom out. So this is a big deal. You can see we finally broke this. We've been stuck for the longest. This is great. You can see the market's in a downtrend. We finally broke 587. So in the near future, whether it's tomorrow, Monday, or Tuesday, if we do get a little bit of a pullback here, we still have to retest 587.85. This has been the key level that's been holding Qs up, and we finally broke it. So that's just something to keep in mind moving forward. Now, as for tomorrow, what am I looking for here on the Qs? Just pullback shorts. Pullback shorts. That's all I'm looking for. So you can see our two key levels here, 577. Oh, this big jump that we're seeing here, that's also something to keep in mind. Right now it's 112. Trump is speaking at 1 p.m. So whatever you see occurs right now as I'm making this video, that's pretty much just a domino effect, right? A ripple effect of whatever he's saying. So I definitely will check that after I'm done with this. But nevertheless, we're in a downtrend. So you're looking for a pullback short off of 577 or a pullback short off of 581.10. We'll see what sets up here. The high probability shot is going to be under 572.85 just because we're also under the previous day low here. So that's just something to keep in mind, right? It's a great confluence here under the previous day low, which means price is likely to continue lower. We'll see what happens tomorrow, right? We had a very big day today, a very big day. So tomorrow, if we do something like this, won't be surprised. So just keep that in mind on the overall market. A lot of these names had some very nice trendy downside continuation, which is very rare to see now. So if we chop sideways tomorrow, just do not be surprised. Tesla, we're clearly in a downtrend here. Tesla's been in a downtrend. Look at the weekly time frame. Look at this hammer stick candle on the weekly time frame. The bears are in control. So this is not a name that I'm looking to go long on, clearly, right? The last 2 days, we filled the gaps because last week on Thursday and Friday, you can see here, we ended up gapping down. So we spent really majority of this week just filling the gaps here. Yesterday we filled the gap. Yesterday we filled the gap, and the day before that we filled the gap. So just looking for pullback shorts here on Tesla. So I'm not really expecting much on Tesla just because it had a very nice trendy day today. And it's been pretty annoying. Like I said, the last 2 days in a row, I just cannot get an entry. I understood when we broke above 394.05. I understood, okay, this is a bull trap, right? And you can see we were right. It was a bull trap. We're in a downtrend. So these are just people getting caught trying to long in a downtrend moving name. I couldn't catch it just due to the bad price action. The same thing today ends up playing out. We know what we're looking for. Just couldn't catch it due to the price action. So I'm not really expecting too much here on Tesla going into tomorrow. You know, if we can get a pullback short off of 382.80, sounds good. I wouldn't count it out. We know Tesla can move a big amount on the intraday, but this was already the A+ shot. You can see I've been playing weekly contracts, end of week expiration, so I can leave some runners, because as we know, those runners, when you're playing with the higher time frame, those can turn into swing trades, and those pay you more so than your entire position size itself. So the last 2 days on the higher time frame have been A+ setups. Today, this was an A+ shot. You're able to scale out accordingly, leave some runners. I mean, you're getting paid, but it's just been really, really tough with this price action. So the only thing I'm looking for tomorrow on Tesla is a break and retest under 367.35 or a pullback short here off of 382.80. If we just sit in between here on Tesla, I'm pretty much hands off. As you can see, the last 2 days have gave some great opportunities on the higher time frame. So wouldn't be surprised if we're a little exhausted here, but we'll see, right? Tesla, you know, on average can move $20 to $25 in a day. Typically $15 to $20 in a day, but when Tesla trends, it trends hard. So I wouldn't count this out. We'll see what sets up going into tomorrow, but that's the game plan on Tesla. NVIDIA. So this is really, I'm going to break this down 2 ways. One, this is how I'm pretty much treating NVIDIA. I said this to the Discord this week. So no trade zone. You would not be wrong. You have to understand, right? Low probability environments. You would not be wrong to skip NVIDIA and just wait for this or wait for this. That's how you avoid death by 1,000 cuts. That's how you avoid the fake outs. That's how you avoid all the big wicks, the bad price action, because those are what you're going to get in these type of environments. So as I always say, just look left. Look how beautiful this price action is. That's what we want to trade in, right? That's what we want to trade in. Even to the downside, back to the upside, even to the downside. That's clean price action. Since the end of last year and this year, it's just been this. That's not a high probability environment. We keep pulling back to 170 and we're holding. So can we finally get this break? Right? That's all we're waiting for. As I always teach you, we trend, consolidation, next leg higher, next leg lower. That's all we're waiting for. So you wouldn't be wrong to just avoid NVIDIA until we break either side of the range here. So that's what I'm waiting for here on NVIDIA. So really the A+ shot tomorrow is a break and retest under 170. That's the A+ shot. It's been terrible this year. I've said this in the past. I think out of every tech name, NVIDIA looks the absolute worst on the higher time frame. You can see so far this year, every single week, we've had an inside bar week. This is the price action we want. This is the price action we have. So just want to throw that out there, right? Be cautious. Tomorrow's a Friday. I'm not expecting too much, but our job is to react, not predict. So if you want, you can definitely look for a pullback short off of 174.50. Why? Because we got the breakout today on the daily time frame. We still need to retest that. So keep that in mind. You can definitely look for that. If you take that, just keep in mind, we're above 170, so you're still in a range. I want to make that very clear. We're still in a range, but we're looking for a pullback short here. The trend is your friend, and the dip, right, is your best friend. So that's what you can wait for. Or the higher probability shot, you're under the previous day low. It's a break and retest under a weekly level, and it's a break of structure. Patient pays. That's the A+ shot on NVIDIA. Break and retest under 170. So that's the game plan on NVIDIA going into tomorrow. AMD. I've been treating AMD the same way. I've never really taken many trades on AMD. This is a great example. This is how, right? You don't blow your account. This is how you take the best, you leave the rest. You just sit on your hands and let your trades come to you. How? You just wait for the range break to either side. That's all you do. AMD is a great example here. Look at, last year and the year before that. Look at the beautiful price action to the downside, the beautiful price action to the upside, even on the pullbacks. And this is the weekly time frame. Now, look at the price action we've had so far this year. That's it. Inside bar week, every week. We've just been sitting in a very tight channel. So we have this that we've been dealing with since the end of last year, but this is what we want. Look how clean this price action is on the weekly time frame. That's what we want to trade. So when in doubt, zoom out. We're trading with the higher time frame. This is how, guys, you have a higher win percentage, right? Because you're trading with the overall time frame. The bulls and bears are not in control in here. You know what I mean? It's just sideways action. That's not a high probability environment. So you wait for this or you wait for that. Based on where AMD is sitting right now, and today we closed at 203.77, I'm pretty much just hands off on this tomorrow. So my advice, right, take what I say with a grain of salt if you want. I would just wait for the range break to either side. We still have this gap fill back from last October that we still have to fill to the downside. I love it. So if that sets up, that's something we can look for. Like I said, I doubt that'll set up tomorrow, but that's just something you can keep an eye out for moving forward. Right, when you look at this on the daily time frame, actually, I'll go back to the weekly levels. This is all AMD has been doing. It's just been stuck in ranging in between 225 and 203. That's all it's been doing. Does this look like a trended name? Right. Pros and cons to our system. The break and retest, continuation, trended markets. That's the conditions that our system thrives in. Not this. These are not high probability trades. Sure, right? Anywhere in here you may get a nice little trade off a key level or off a PDH, but you're not thinking about your next 100 trades when you take that. Is that sustainable over a long period of time? I hope that makes sense. So you want to practice good habits. You don't want to just win the day and say, okay, cool, I got by today. You want a repeatable system for the long term. So higher probability short, long over 225, higher probability short under 187. Let your trade come to you. So I'm just treating AMD in between 225 and 187 as a no trade zone. And a lot of our names, right? That's why there hasn't been many trades that I've been taking, because a lot of these names are just sitting in a channel. Let's go here on Amazon. Tomorrow, the game plan is a break and retest under 206.40. But even here, on Amazon, on the daily, yeah, we are moving lower. You can definitely see that. On the weekly time frame, you can see the bears are in control so far this year. But this is a great example on just look at what we've done so far. These are weekly candles. We had one crazy sell-off, and that was really due to earnings. Since then, this is all we've been doing. Every week, just an inside bar week. This name is ranging. It's not a trending name. It's not moving higher. It's not moving lower. It's sitting sideways. So that's just something to keep in mind here. I'm just trying to give you guys a visual on how to avoid these bad setups. Let's go here on the 15, and this is a great example. Today and yesterday, I thought I was going to get it. I didn't. Just waiting for the range break. In between 212.80 and 206, we're just ranging. And this is a great example. This is all we've done this week. And these key levels have been getting respected perfectly. This was Monday, top of the range. Tuesday, bottom of the range. Yesterday, top of the range. Today, top of the range. And then we made our way back down to the bottom of the range. So what are we doing? We're just doing that. We are just doing that. So what am I looking for tomorrow if we want to stay heavy? Break and retest under 206.40. You got a clear shot here towards 202.50. It's a higher probability shot. I like that. But all week, this is all we've been doing on Amazon. There's no trade there. So, and every week's just been pretty much an inside bar week. We did gap up here on Wednesday, and then today we filled that gap back to the downside here. So we'll see what sets up here on Amazon. But of course, if we sit in between 212 and 206, I'm hands off. Very simple there. Apple. I was looking at this today. Look at Apple. What has Apple done this entire week? Nothing. It's sitting in a range. A lot of these names. This is today, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. Look at that. Bottom, 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 bottom. So every day, it's pretty much just been an inside bar day sitting sideways. But look how clean this got. Look at that. We broke outside of the range. We turned it into support. You got a nice little push up into 257 here. See what I mean? Just letting your trade come to you. So I was actually looking for this on Apple to the downside or to the upside, because if we broke above 255, that was a break of trend of a trend line on the higher time frame. But you can see it was just a peak and fell. What happens when we get over a key level and fell it? We fuel that move lower. You can see the pop here during the after hours because, like I said, Trump spoke at 1 p.m. and I'm making the assumption it was positive news due to everything rallying, not tanking. So going into tomorrow, fairly simple here on Apple. It's sitting in the middle of my no trade zone, so it's just no trade. You let your trade come to you. It's either going to be that or it's going to be that. There's no way you can tell me that this is a high probability environment. Every day has been an inside bar day. So there's definitely no setups off a PDH and a PDL. So let your trade come to you. And I love that they're both weekly levels. The higher the time frame, the stronger the level here. If or when we break under 244, we are officially outside of a channel on the higher time frame. But let's go here on the weekly on Apple. And you can see really done nothing the last 3 weeks. The last 3 weeks, we've pretty much sat in between 255 and 248.30 here. So another name that's just doing nothing. Let your trades come to you. This is how you avoid death by 1,000 cuts. This is how you take the higher probability trades. So if you've had just as much cash days as me or more, that's a good thing. That's a really good thing because there's no setups, guys. Now that the market's breaking outside of the range and we're moving lower, now we're starting to see some setups, right? On Tesla, on NVIDIA, if NVIDIA could break that 170, we're getting there. SPY and Qs, now those names are starting to give us some setups now that we're breaking outside of the range to the downside. So patient pays. We just got to let our trades come to us. So tomorrow, if we just sit in between these two key levels, I'm hands off. If the market wants to stay strong, right, and Apple wants to stay strong, hey, I'm definitely looking for a long over 255. I mean, look at this during the after hours. We're already back up here at the top of the range. Like I said, our job is to react, not predict. So we'll see what sets up here going into tomorrow on Apple. If we stay at the top of the range, you just want to look for a long over 255. You can target the previous day high and then see if we can get continuation to the upside. Microsoft, beautiful. This is a great example here that I want to use on Microsoft. Clearly in a downtrend, but in between 404 and 392.30, it was just dead smack in the middle of the range. So you know how many trades we lost on that? 0, because we avoided it. So you can see, just sit it in a range, and then look what happens when we break the range. Look at the beautiful price action continuation lower. You see how there's no longer inside bar days? Every day is opening and continuing under the previous day low. That's a trending name, right? That's what you want to see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days in a row on the daily time frame. These are some strong bearish candles to the downside. We are trending lower. That's exactly what you want to see here. So going into tomorrow, Microsoft's going to be one of my top watches here. Look at that. So unfortunately, wasn't able to get this. I did miss this on the intraday, but I'll give you a great example on just a clean price action where we're outside of a range. Look at this on Monday. Look at that. Right, you got your break, you got your retest, and you got that flush lower. Look at this clean price action. That's what we've been missing, but that's what we want. So may not be tomorrow, may not be Monday, but that's why I do have this labeled as a retest needed, because you can see here on the daily we broke this, we still need to retest this, but we've just been trending lower, which is clear as daylight. All you got to do, zoom out here, look at that. We're just stair-stepping lower, stair-stepping lower. So what am I looking for tomorrow? Pop and fade off of 367.25. The trend is your friend, the dip is your best friend. Very simple here, because if we reclaim this, well, we know we're not looking to go long, so we just skip the trade, we don't take a trade. I'm looking to get in on the continuation lower here on 367.25 on Microsoft. Whatever sets up tomorrow, I'm playing next week expiration. I don't care. I haven't been touching zero DTEs. To each their own, just in these conditions, I haven't. Control what you can control. If you get in on 0, you already have to worry about theta on top of these conditions. So we'll see what sets up. But tomorrow, my main focus is going to be a pullback short off of 367.25 here on Microsoft, looking for the next key level here, 359.50. Palantir, beautiful. You know how many trades we've lost on Palantir? 0. Why? Because we haven't taken anything. This is not a high probability environment. Look at that. Look at that. There's nothing there. So what have I been doing? Just chilling on my hands. And now, some of these plays are starting to set up, letting them come to us. Like you have to know your identity as a trader. I'm not a reversal trader. I'm not a gap fill trader. I am a break and retest trader on the higher time frame. So, you see these pushes up. I don't care for that. I want the continuation to the upside. So you can see our weekly 161.75, respect it beautifully. You can see the bottom of the range, respect it beautifully. Letting our trade come to us. So what am I looking for tomorrow? The break and retest under 148.05. Next key level, 137.70. Since the market is pulling back and starting to trend lower, I might mess around with like next week expiration here on Palantir. I don't really care to take this on a 0. Like I said, we'll see. But tomorrow, fairly simple here. We're just playing the break and retest outside of the range. We reject it. Last 2 days, we've been pulling back. Now we're at the bottom of the range. If we hold, then we know we're just not looking to go long here. If we get the break and retest, we're playing the range break. So short under 148.05 is really going to be your key setup here on on Palantir going into tomorrow. So hope this helps, guys. Hope you guys been staying safe. I know conditions suck. These conditions have been tough. So just a little reminder, remember, not trading is still trading and proper risk management. Protect your capital. You can't trade without capital. Protect your capital, protect your mental capital as well. That's just as important. If anything, that's more important. So you can see, right, once again, this market, we're in a downtrend here. Qs, look at that. Finally breaking outside. It hasn't been the best price action. Today, we finally got that sell-off towards the end of the day. Let's see, right? Let's see if we can just continue lower. Let's just see if we can continue lower here. So like I said, your A+ shot on Qs, for me at least, really under 572. You can look for the pullback shorts off of these two. They're all valid. The previous day close is going to be right here. So, right, if we open up above here, that's cool. We'll see. Just keep in mind it will be a gap. So you will have a confluence play here. Just trying to give you a little bit of tips on how to read this. Let's say you do get a setup here. I like the confluence because the previous day closes here. If we open around here, that means we have a gap to the downside. We're in a downtrend. So you're also playing the gap fill. Yeah. you're playing off a weekly level, right? The break and retest, the higher the time frame, the stronger the level. You just want to remember in trading, confluences equal higher probability. That's something to think about. So we'll see what sets up here tomorrow. Like I said, I'm not going to expect too much. We had a nice trendy day across the board on all of these names. It's a Friday. Typically, big banks and hedge funds are closing up some of their positions. So I won't expect too much. But if this market can stay heavy, I think we have a really good head start heading into the second quarter. Yeah, we have 2 days left of the first quarter. Of this quarter, excuse me. I think Monday and let's go to the calendar right here. What is it? Monday and Tuesday. Yeah, we have 2 days left outside of tomorrow in the month of March, and then Q2. So hopefully this helps, guys. Appreciate the love, support, and I will see you guys on the next